All right, everyone. So, talking about finding the fun in the grind, wanted to share this with the YouTube crowd as well. Got my team here, some of the folks on the team joining us. And so, this is something that we actually did with the Realtor Roundtable um, not too long ago. September 19th, we did this Realtor Roundtable in Tulsa. We're going to do a Realtor Roundtable next week in Denver. And this is basically the topic that we're going over with the realtors. And I thought this would be something good to do with you guys, the loan officers as well, because it was a great exercise. All right. So we're going to jump right into it. If you guys have a pen and paper, or if you just want to kind of mentally think through this, the idea through all of this is we're thinking about how do we grow? How do we handle more business? How do we bring in more business? And I personally think that looks different for everybody, right? Because though we're all doing the same thing, trying to close loans, everyone has different gifts. Our creator created us all with different types of talents, different dynamics within the things that we feel like we're good at, right? So within whatever your business goal is, whatever you guys want to write down for that, maybe it's the total number of units for 2025 or total number of units for 2024. Just what is the goal, your biggest business goal for your mortgage business? All right. So think of that. And then this is going to be the next thing you're going to write down. I want you to write down 2 or 3 things that you hate about your job. And this is all going to make sense in a little bit. Visualize it, write it down, whatever you want to do. 2 or 3 things that you hate about your job. I came up with 5. So just giving you an idea of what you guys can write down. All right. I wrote down cold calling, which I don't do anymore. Processing. Hate doing anything having to do with processing. Dealing with shoppers. Really don't like having to do the whole back and forth communication stuff with shoppers. Computer work, clerical work, and then the actual, I enjoy recruiting, but like the mundane of just like, continually having to contact, the prospecting element of recruiting, trying to, win business from, people on social media, whatever the case is, right? So those are just mine. You guys can have whatever you want on your list, but that's just an example of what I had on mine. All right. So here's the next thing. Now you're going to write down the opposite. Basically, what do you love about your job? Like these are things that you actually get excited to get up and do. Right. So for me, I wrote down networking. I wrote down building relationships, team building, mentoring, doing these kinds of things with you guys, attending closings, teaching, organizational things. I really enjoy feeling organized. So all my little Google Sheets, you guys have seen me kind of nerd out with my Google Sheets. So those are some examples from my stuff. Whatever you guys think your stuff is, just write that down. And this is all going to come together here in a little bit. All right. So the last question or the last set of things that you're going to write down for this section is, what is your superpower? And think of your superpower as, like for me, I think of who knows me really well. Think of my wife, Michelle, right? I go ask her, babe, what do you think my superpower is? And she tells me, you're really good at bringing people together. I was like, never thought of that. Jake and I think we've had this conversation before. I think Jake, one of the things he told me was consistency, just modeling consistency. If I remember correctly, Jake, I feel like that's what you shared with me. But what would you guys think is your superpower if you were to ask your spouse, someone who you know really well, one of your parents, one of your siblings, whoever knows you really well, or just even what you think of yourself? Like, what do you think that superpower is? All right. So let's just kind of recap. You should have really, if you have this on a sheet of paper, maybe you do like 3 columns. You have what you hate about your job. Let me try to put this on top here. You know, I said list 3 to 5 things, what you love about your job, list 3 to 5 things, and then what's your superpower? So before we go to the next part, does anybody want to share? Does anybody want to open up? You don't have to if you don't want to. Does anyone want to open up what they think of when you're listing out things that you hate, you just can't stand?
Shoppers.
Shoppers, okay. I'm with you on that. Think we can all put that. Anyone else?
I think that's on everybody's list. Cold
Yeah.
calling and shoppers is like the number one thing.
Yeah.
But I hate untransparency, you know.
Okay.
I think that that's a big thing. I think that people should be more transparent because they know what's going on in their lives before we even dissect all of it.
Yeah.
You know, so I think I hate when we get to like almost closing and then some kind of little surprise comes out that I'm like, what?
Yeah.
You know, so
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
yeah, transparency for me.
That's a good one. All right. Well, let's jump to the love part. Does anyone have anything that's kind of like, can't wait to get up to do XYZ? What would be on that list?
Start a new file.
Say that again, Paris?
Start a new file.
Okay. That's a good
I
one.
still didn't understand what you say.
She said starting a new file.
Ah, yeah. Always feels good, right? Always
Yeah.
feels good.
Yeah.
For me, it's helping people. I love to get up in the morning and know that I'm going to help somebody.
That's a good one. I like that.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say too, Lucretia.
Yeah, it's
Good one.
important.
Okay. All right. So here's the next part with the superpower piece. Okay. So the question is, how can you fix what you hate with your superpower? So let's use one of the things that we talked about just a second ago, dealing with shoppers. Like, do you guys have anyone feel comfortable sharing what they think their superpower is? And how can that address dealing with shoppers?
Well, I put super fun. Like I feel like I'm a super fun person.
Okay.
Um, but I don't know how that will stop them from shopping me.
Well, so the first thought I had when you said that, Lucretia, is being super fun, putting that on someone that's a shopper potentially helps you win the deal because you're going to utilize that gift to win them over. If you just, however, whatever that looks like in conversation, like if you just like, hey, you know, look, let's not be awkward about it. You're shopping, you know, like, I don't know, you tell them a joke or you do something that just kind of gets them off their rocker a little bit. Like, oh man, I really like this girl. Like I really can vibe with this girl. You know what I mean?
Yep. Totally.
Yeah. So that's just an example. There's probably other things that you can think of in that.
Yep. I like it.
One of mine was, you know, bringing people together. So utilizing that for something that I hate, which is like computer work, clerical work, is bringing people together. In essence, delegating, right? So whether that's a processor or at one point in time, I hired a full-time loan officer assistant to handle all those things. I'm working with a processor that is okay to disclose for me, is okay to kind of do all the computer stuff that I don't want to do. But, you know, basically using that as my superpower to kind of fix the part that I hate about the job. That's how it's kind of applicable, right? So, you know, so you guys can kind of get the idea, maybe just kind of do the exercise further with the additional stuff that you listed out. And then we do the same thing for what we love. How can we do more of what we love through your superpower? And really the idea here is we want to find the fun in the grind, right? So we know we have to work hard to grow. We know we have to work hard to do well in this business and potentially scale, but it doesn't feel like we're working as hard when we're enjoying what we do, right? And I think the way we enjoy what we do is when we do what we're good at, right? And so this is kind of a little exercise to help determine what needs to be prioritized in our business based off of what we know we're good at and what do we need to eliminate out of our business based on the fact that we don't like it. One, two, a lot of those things that we might list out, we probably don't even have to deal with to do business well. And if we really have to deal with it, how do we apply our superpower to it? And then the final thought with all of that is, how do you delegate, right? So using your superpower to fix the stuff you hate, using your superpower to build on the stuff that you love. And then for everything else, we've got these 2 tips. If you can't fix it, delegate it. If you can't delegate it right now, keep growing until you can. It's really that simple.
Oh.
And then when we're talking about actually handling more, we get to the point where ultimately it's how much can you handle on your own, right? And then when we get to the point where we can't handle the amount of business coming in on our own, we've got to bring in some help, right? Everyone that's on the team at Edge that is like doing insane numbers, I don't think there's any of them that doesn't have a team, right? So at some point, maybe that's a conversation we all start having. Like I said, I know I've been through the process before with kind of expanding a personal production team. And I've kind of had my ups and downs with it, a lot to learn from it, a lot to apply the next time I bring somebody on. But at the end of the day, it takes a village, right? There's only 24 hours in the day. And if you want to have a good work-life balance, there's a certain amount of loans that is going to feel like a good, healthy work-life balance for everybody. And if you want to go above that, we've got to delegate. But until we get to that point, I think this is kind of the key to help really bring in more business, really scale, especially in a season where we feel like we're seeing more opportunities with all the talks about the rates and everything that's going on. So yeah, that's what I want to share with you guys. You guys have any thoughts on that? Any additional contributions to this idea and concept?
It makes sense. Break it down this way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Russell Petty asked a question on one of his podcasts recently that I told Corey Bowman, been chewing on kind of what you mentioned, Zoe, a couple minutes ago about your superpower. And he's like, if you're a loan officer and you don't know why people should go with you, then you're going to be stuck in that 1 to 3 units per month, and he had a bunch of different tiers. Like, okay, once you figure that out, then this is your next tier. Okay. And then this is when you hire somebody. But that question about the superpower, that's an interesting one because like Tom Mollis always says, we're all in the business of selling money. So how many times do you say, hey, great rates, great service, communication, all that kind of stuff? Like what truly sets you apart? It's a really, I don't know. I've been struggling with that one as I've tried to answer that one for myself for like the last 2 weeks since I saw it.
Yeah.
But it's a great question.
Yeah. Definitely. Yeah, that's another great way to put it. What sets you apart from the rest of the field, the rest of the loan officers that are out there? And yeah, ideally, if you can think of your superpower or something similar to what you would think of a superpower, that can ultimately be the answer that gives you kind of some purpose for your branding, purpose for how you even structure your day. For me, when Michelle told me that, I was like, oh man, and that's when I really started implementing more realtor roundtables. Jake introduced that, I don't know how long ago, and I've just been running consistent with that. And that's been giving me new opportunities, doing the team calls with you guys. having the opportunities for more events, seeing that through like our partners with UWM, traveling and taking agents out there, like just the face-to-face opportunities has really brought the fun back for me in my personal business. Whereas before I was doing that, when I wasn't doing that, it kind of felt like I was potentially gonna, burn out, because I was doing stuff, I was working hard, but it wasn't as fun. But when you actually do what you're good at, do what you love, it makes working hard fun. It makes grinding fun, right? And I think that's where we can really feel a lot more. We feel a lot more purposeful in what we're doing. We take care of people better. We take care of our business partners better. It's better for our loved ones, like everybody benefits when we're enjoying what we're doing, right? As opposed to feeling like, oh, this is just something that is paying the bills. And, there's days that I hate it. There's days that I like it. Like we can actually eliminate the stuff that we hate if we're just tactical about it, and think through it. So yeah, just wanted to share that. Team, you guys can hang on for a little bit. I'm just going to stop the recording for everybody on YouTube. Everybody's watching. I appreciate you guys checking in and hope to see y'all in the next video. Take care and have a great day.